which we have labored to interpret.
Which we have labored to interpret. Go ahead.
For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them.
Right. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and uttered in another tongue or translated to another tongue have not the same force in them. So you can try to use certain words to explain something, but the main way to really understand what the scripture is saying is by going back into the ancient Hebrew of the word in the Hebrew. Go ahead.
And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language.
Right, when they're spoken in their own language, they don't have any small difference. Like, I'll give you an example. I believe it was a movie, Goodfellas. There was a scene on a table where Joe Pesci's, the lady that played Joe Pesci's mom, she made like a joke in English, right? But then after she finished telling the joke in English, she said it sounds much nicer in Italian. Why? Because it was actually an Italian joke, and the force of it was in Italian, so the punchlines were there. But then when you translated it to another tongue, you can get an idea of what it was saying, but you don't get the fullness of what it was saying. That's the same thing with the Hebrew. The Hebrew, when you translate the Hebrew as a straightforward language, you know, there's no maybes and no, you know, none of that uncertainties. It's all straightforward. It's not like English. English is a, like, you know, a very uncertain language. There's so much mixed into it. You know, it's really, you know, for, I don't want to sound like some dude that they used to be in the school, but it is a bastard tongue. You know, English is a bastard tongue, and the pure language of the earth is the Hebrew.
That's right.
You know, because all languages stem from the Hebrew. All right. So that's pretty much it on that, right?
You
All
want
right.
Isaiah
So let's
28?
go to Isaiah 28. Let's start at the 9th verse. The point is in the 10th verse, so we can get started here, and have these, you know, break these scriptures down for these brothers. Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge?
The scripture said, whom shall he teach knowledge? So the whom that is speaking of is the Most High. So the Most High is asking the question. He's saying, whom shall he teach knowledge? Right? So in other words, who is the Most High going to be dealing with to open up this information of these scriptures to? Go ahead.
Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine?
Right, so who is the Most High going to teach this knowledge to, right? And whom is he going to make to understand the doctrine? Because what did it say in Isaiah 4 and 7? I'm sorry, not Isaiah 4 and 7. Proverbs 4 and 7. It says, wisdom is the principal thing.
Right.
Therefore get wisdom.
And get understanding.
Right, and with all that getting, get understanding. Right. So who, not only do you have to read the scriptures and understand them, I mean, read the scriptures and get the knowledge out of them, but you also have to have that understanding. Right. So the Most High is saying, who is he going to teach his knowledge to, and who is he going to make to understand the doctrine or the truth? Go ahead.
Okay. Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. Meaning, when you're a baby, you have to suck your mother's breast to get the milk out of it. For what? Give me Peter's 1 Peter's 2 and 2. You have to suck your mother's breast to get I sound like another guy, to get the nourishment out of it, right? And drawn it, right? And drawn from the breast means you have to be weaned. A baby that's still sucking his mother's breast is not ready to eat any solid foods. So that's the way you have to be in this truth. When you first come into this truth, instead of trying to be all deep and trying to break down the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel, you know, just so you can look good, you should be more concerned with learning the basics of this truth. Learn the basics of it, grow, and then you'll be able to, when you come of full age, you'll be able to be able to receive the things that pertain to meat in the scriptures, and you won't be stumbling all over yourself. You know, you got that, brother?
Can I get
yeah, bring it out, brother.
That?
Beautiful. Yeah.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 5 and 12.
Go ahead.
For the time ye ought to be teachers. Ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High.
Right, because the main thing that you're doing in here, we keep telling you, brothers, is you're coming into this truth to become a teacher. You're not coming into this truth to be a follower. You're coming into this truth to be a teacher, or to find your calling in this truth, whether it be helps, whether it be teaching, whether it be prophesying, whether it be a apostle, a gift of healing, all the things that are spoken of in the book of 1 Corinthians 12 and Romans the 12th chapter, all the different gifts. So you're here to be teachers. So it says, for when the time you ought to be teachers, go ahead.
Right. For when the time you ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High. What's that? That's milk. That's the basic scriptures. You have some guys that they want to get into the book of Revelation, and they want to get into the breakdowns of the book of Daniel and break down Genesis, the first chapter and the second chapter, and they can't even give you 5 color scriptures.
Right.
They can't even give you 5 scriptures to prove that Yahweh Shai only died for the nation of Israel. Right. They can't give you certain little basic things that you need to build your foundation in this truth. Go ahead.
And are become such as have need of milk, and not of strong meat.
And have become such as have need of milk, and not of strong meat. See, because the milk, if you in milk stage, just stick to the milk stage. Eventually, you're going to get where where you have to be. Be patient. Go ahead.
For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness.
Right. Everyone that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness. When you see brothers out there teaching the word, you got to understand, we've been doing this thing for a while. We've been doing it for a long time. Elder THAWARAH himself, almost 25 years. Elder Gabar, almost 20 years. Elder Rakah, almost 20 years, and so on and so forth.
That's right.
So when they speak and you see them speaking, it's not, they didn't just come into this yesterday. It's that way first and foremost because of the Spirit of the Lord, and second of all because they've done this. They've been out there, they've experienced it. Go ahead.
Okay. For everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe.
For he is a babe, still a baby. Go ahead.
But strong meat belongeth to them that are full of age.
Yeah, but strong meat belongeth to them that are full age. Alright, meaning that they have already come through the milk stages. They've already been experienced. They've already been tried. They've been tested. They've gone through certain things. They've taught. They've answered questions. They've dealt with the congregation. They've held councils. They've given brothers counsel. They've broken things down. Women have left them. They have gone through the things that the scriptures speak about, and most importantly, they dealt with the milk scriptures. Go ahead.
Okay. But strong meat belongeth to them that are full of age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
Right. Even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised. That's why the Elder THAWARAH said, he said, you can look at a guy, he can tell right away if the guy is full of shit or not. The Elder Gabar, same way, on down. You know why? Because they have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. It's a process, brothers. You can't, this ain't a thing that comes overnight. We read the scripture yesterday. It says the race is not given to the swift. See? Alright, so brother, let's go back to read that 1 Peter 2:2, and then we're gonna hit the first Hebrew word.
Alright. First, the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 2. As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby.
Right. As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that you may grow thereby. This is a growing stage, a growing process. This ain't something that you just come and you memorize scriptures and go out there and speak, just to speak and look good.
Right.
This thing is a growing process.
Just to have himself heard.
Right.
Because just a specific person watching, so
right.
They want to show, yeah, well, look, I could get down too, and
just the same thing you see the elder doing, I could do the same thing. Yeah. It ain't about that, man. If you come in that spirit, you come in the vainglory spirit.
Right.